Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of a new Trekkie. My 5-year mission to search out Star Trek media, to seek out our fans and merchandise, to boldly go where no fan has gone before.
Greetings and salutations, we're back to looking at the show Star Trek The Next Generation with the episode Ship in a Bottle and Aquiel. Let's look at Ship in a Bottle first. And in this episode, which continued a plot from the second season episode Elementary Dear Data, the fictional holodeck character, Professor James Moriarty, seizes control of the Enterprise in his quest to be free to live in reality, outside the confines of the holodeck.
I assure you, we have not forgotten you. We spent time investigating how you became self-aware. Frankly, it still remains a mystery.
It is also irrelevant. What concerns me is finding a way to leave the holodeck. We have been wrestling with that problem too, unfortunately, without any success. But we have turned our findings over to Starfleet's most experienced theoretical scientists.
And what did your finest minds come up with?
So, the character of Reginald Barclay, although in the past when they've had this character, he's always just been like at times, a character who is a bit nervous, but at the same time is just, like, unsure of things. When he first meets, Moriarty, he's just like, okay. And as the story goes on, I have to say that the idea of Moriarty just trying to say, hey, I was somehow able to get out there. Maybe I can get the love of my life out of there. As, like, say, like a morality kind of thing. Like, say, it's an interesting idea, trying to get, like, say, a character who is, written in a book, and then, they're able to, like, replicate that on the holodeck, which is, a computer-generated, and then bring that computer-generated character into reality. Is a interesting idea, honestly. And then, he's basically taking over of the ship. The thing about it, though, is I like the fact that Moriarty is in this episode. At the same time, I still feel like it would have been a cool idea if they actually had, Holmes in it. Just as, like, even though in this, universe, it is mostly just, Picard and Data that bounce heads against Moriarty. And I guess just as, like, an episode, I found it was pretty good. It's not really something like, say, hey, I feel like come back to watch this again. I mean, there's a ton of episodes of TNG that I would gladly come back to. This one, perhaps not. I mean, is it just intriguing? Yeah. The acting's pretty good. I like the fact that they had, Daniel Davis as Moriarty return. He did a great job.
An object has no life. I do.
Professor, you are a computer simulation.
I have consciousness. Conscious beings have will. The mind endows them with powers that are not necessarily understood, even by you.
Overall, it's not bad, but not great. Not an episode that I would come back to, I don't think. But that's just how I feel about it. Oh, let's look at the next episode. The episode Aquiel. In this episode, the crew of the Enterprise investigates a mysterious death on a remote station, and Commander Geordi LaForge falls for the main suspect. This episode is, like, I feel like, say, this episode has a bit of influence from, The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing, or, or just, the novel of the story about it, based on it, and that it has a similarity to the story in that, like, there's a murder, but we don't know who did it. We have no recollection of why or anything of that nature. I'll be honest, like, say, yes, I've grown to really like the characters of the Klingons, and I feel like, say, they were just pushed in there because they needed an antagonist as a character to just say, hey, what if it was actually the Klingons and who actually were the ones that were the cause or the root of the issue? But, I do think, like, I do feel, my thoughts on the perspective of, like, say, Geordi falling for, Aquiel? For the girl that is accused of murder and all that, I think, yeah, like, when he's, like, investigating, doing all the, watching the tapes and all that, yeah, I can understand, like, okay, yeah, you're learning about someone and all that, sort of like how a detective person, learns about how, like, an individual, like, before they pass or something like that. Yeah, the thing about it for Geordi, I would like to see an episode for his character in which he is able to have a romance, but it is, like, they, they are able to, it doesn't fall immediately. Like, they become a friendship and all that. I don't know, I thought this episode the acting was fairly good. I kind of thought the ending with the dog, I thought that, okay, I feel like this is, like, that was kind of obvious, I suppose, in the fact that, well, where did this dog come from? And honestly, at the beginning of the episode, but not the greatest, but not something that is just, like, I wouldn't think bad about skipping. I mean, so basically what I'd say is it's in between good and bad. So, a middle ground. See you next time.